So listen, welcome back. We have a guest today I want to tell all about, right? I don't introduce guests, right?
Right.
But I don't introduce this guest. Because when you get to know the fella, he's one of the nicest people you're going to meet. Family man, Parang soca man,
Appreciate that.
host, corporate man. But I'll tell you, he's one of the most annoying men you've ever met on a football field. Is the most sick. I have an Achilles rupture. I tell all about this some years ago. I waited for this man to come here since then, right? I ruptured my Achilles 3 years ago because of this man. I would like to welcome Kiegs, Dr. Keegan Barrett, Dr. Mr. The Honorable Right Keegan Barrett. What happened, Kiegs?
I have a problem with that introduction. I have a big problem.
I've been waiting 3 years and 2 surgeries to introduce the man who is responsible for rupturing my right Achilles.
I have witnesses who could confirm I had nothing to do with that.
How so? Who witnesses?
Everybody on the field, brother. Folks, there are many reasons why people rupture their Achilles. In this man's case, it was a bit of acceleration at a premature rate. You know, you start to get older, you do a lot of things prematurely.
And overmaturely.
Acceleration is one of them. I was nowhere close to the man. In fact, I was the person who helped him up.
But I thought he was close. When the ball, people don't understand, right? It's never start with sports, but you got to understand, no. The ball come first, I was drinking rum with a fella named Jade Brown too. Easy had next.
That is probably why.
But he come in.
Right.
He come in too, so we got to address that then.
No, I distinctly remember when it did happen.
Right, so you was there.
You did call my name and say, Kiegs, where's that? I remember that. When you ball out, and you ball Kiegs, where's that one?
But here the funny part about it now. When I ball out that and I turn wrong, you are safe distance away from me. What's your body? Because I tell myself Kiegs coming. Because when you're playing football with Kiegs, this man is coming. You have no free time when Kiegs defending, right? So I take off telling myself you're coming. And I accelerate because I would need to accelerate.
Yeah, you're trying to beat me. Yeah, you're trying to beat me to the
ball.
But
he wasn't even studying me. I don't like it.
I confused. Like so, your ball, Kiegs, where's that one? I trying to figure out where's the context here. Like, you want me to assess where's the injury? I trying to figure out why you're calling
that's
my
why I introduce you as Dr. Keegan Barrett, because I say you the man who to fix it. If you rupture it, you should fix it. So
the irony is we have a doctor on the field at this point in time.
And here now the doctor come, you watch it, he say, yeah, boy, it rupture.
Yeah, one time. Yeah, one time. Yeah,
he
check
give a little hope. He say, nah, that gone.
Yeah. Man, watch it. So it goes well.
Well, welcome, brother. Friend of the show. It's been a long time coming. We talk about doing this for a long time. So I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you taking the time. So, Kiegs, I want to go back to that episode I had before, right? Always connecting these episodes. And your name came up when we was talking to Eddie.
Right.
Because Eddie talked about the difference between Soca Parang and the soca scene. He was a man in the soca scene, 90s maybe, from the early 90s
up to I grew up on Eddie too.
Right, all of us, right? And Eddie was talking about the difference between the soca and the Soca Parang circuit.
Right.
But what I want to ask is, you a man could sing. You know, every time you hear you could sing.
And that's not true.
Yeah, tell me.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Let me put it in perspective. The average person on the street cannot sing.
Right.
I could kind of sing. So when they hear me sing, they feel I could really sing.
Yeah, better than average.
But I know singers.
Well, I'm with you.
And singers, people who identify as singers,
right,
could really sing. The problem is most singers don't really have original work.
Right.
So you don't hear a lot of singers out there for people to know, well, wait, this is what a singer does sound like. But when you go to concerts, you know,
course, yeah.
And your vocalists come out, or even you go to like a marionettes and they send out a lead vocalist.
Yeah, you want to dancing.
That is how it is here, what a singer.
Of course.
Songs like.
Yeah.
I am not a singer, and I've never considered myself a singer.
Well, it must be the comparison point, because among paranderos, I'm a parandero myself. I want to tell you that he's a singer to a man like me.
Well, so again, I feel like that would have been one of the points that gave me the confidence to come out and decide, well, I have what it takes to be a solo artist in the Parang soca scene.
I want to know where that started for you. When you first got to the point where you say you want to be an artist?
Boy, we got to go way back. So we're going back before anything with Soca Parang at all. Right? In my early, that is 20s, thereabouts, or probably even say 19, 20, right? I've always been in church, right? So in the church choir, not necessarily singing, playing drum. There was somebody to play guitar. They sent us, go on to play guitar a little bit, then to play guitar. I used to play piano when I was about 5 years old, 6 years old. I stopped somewhere around 10. They needed somebody to play steel pan. Start back playing pan. But I was always in the choir. There was a priest who decided to have a kind of carnival show. Calypso, Rapso, whatever. Cousin of mine, Kyle Alexander, and myself decided to do a Rapso.
Okay.
We went to do a Rapso. Nice little ditty. It had a priest called Father O'Connor, who used to always, whenever he preaching, he could have his sermon this week. He say, sex, 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 money, money, money. That is what everybody has. Next week again, the reading could be totally different. Sex, 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 money, money, money.
Took any mind.
And coming back again.
What church is this?
So that was Sacred Heart RC Gasparillo.
Oh, Gasparillo, okay, gotcha.
Right? So naturally the Rapso come about with that's the context. So
sex,
basically
sex, money, money, money,
we approach it as that is what everybody chasing. So we're talking about ills in society and bringing it back to nobody really care about each other. At the end of the day, sex, 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 money, money, money. That is what Father O'Connor say. Right? And that is how we go.
I like it.
From the Rapso now, I realize like I kind of like this writing lyrics kind of vibe. So we're talking about 1920. I actually wrote Calypso and entered Gasparillo Calypso competition.
Okay.
Right? The first time around, I think I came third in the competition, Gasparillo Calypso Monarch. By the time second time around came, I was working at NGC. NGC now have NGC Calypso competition. So Marlon Edwards, right? If you're not familiar with the name, he would have been competing in Young Kings, Calypso Monarch at this point in time. Right? So the competition stiff, but going up, right? And wrote a Calypso, and I ended up winning Gasparillo Calypso competition. I believe Marlon beat off my socks in NGC Calypso competition.
But Gasparillo take them.
Yeah, but Gasparillo take them. Yeah.
Right.
So he was more experienced, writing, performing, right, all of these things. But the experience was nice, right? Continued to write Calypso for about 2 more years. They had my energy company's Calypso competition. Went up there. Marlon beat me again. No problem. But I took the road march.
Oh, yeah. They have a road march?
Yeah, in that competition.
Nice.
Right? Could barely remember the song exactly, but the chorus was like, it's Carnival, it's Bacchanal. It was a nice little tune and I always used to write my songs kind of like under the good vibes kind of thing, because especially with Calypso, I felt like every time I'm in a Calypso competition,
it's wailing and lamentation.
Oh gosh, everything is either somebody dead, we had to get the guns off the street, is our nation building, and if all that fails, sing about God. You see, God?
It can't lose.
You can't lose if you sing about God. So,
but the singers come from the church too.
So, very surprisingly, the year I won, right, the song, again, I'm not on the God and the nation building, because if it's at 20, I win the competition.
Right.
19. Let me say 18, because that one man singing nonsense.
Right.
But 18 of them singing about God and nation building. Right?
Yeah.
I come in that year, if I could remember, boy, I was gone are the days when Calypsonians used to be leading carnival bands. They say soca now is the thing, cause Kaiso have no rhythm. But I say no, we bringing back Calypso. Right? So it was basically about Calypso. You're playing mass, you hear Calypso. You don't have to stop and but you want to hear soca. We out there on the road, we enjoying myself. Calypso just as important as soca, even in the revelry. Right?
But you win road match with that?
No, I didn't win the road match.
That was the one you win road match.
The road match was a proper almost a soca. Yeah, that was it's Carnival, it's Bacchanal. Yeah, no. At the end of the day, the people is the people, and the people want what they want.
Of course,
you're not winning no road match.
Yeah, no, with that.
I
prophecy come true. I mean, if you win road match with that.
Understand that.
Yeah.
So that was where it started for me to writing music and performing. Right. Not sure what was the reason. I know my dad would have died when I was 21. That changed a lot in my life.
Right.
Things like me writing exams at the point in time, pursuing ACCA.
Yeah, difficult.
I fell off with that. Right. I was working already, thankfully. right?
For loud money too, man.
So,
But
wow. I feel like let's not misrepresent any
heavy
facts.
bag.
Yeah, let's not misrepresent any facts. But yeah, so I feel like the music as well was one of the things that suffered through that period, right? I come from a family that was mom, dad, and me, no siblings. So I had no way to really realize how losing one person in that 3-person unit would have disrupted my mentality at the point in time, right? Not to say that life was hard or struggle or anything like that, but that's all I've known until that point.
Of course.
I have my mom there, and now as a son, you feel like you had to be strong for moms too, so you're focusing on
man
that.
of the house kind of thing with you.
Yeah, so all of these things, and I feel like that would have contributed to me kind of, well, boy, let me just focus on my job, you know, our working, thing, whatnot. At some point, since boy, let me just enjoy life. Because,
to live, of course.
My dad wasn't sick and ailing to say it was very sudden.
So
it was very sudden.
Gotcha.
So all of that, I feel, had something to do with it.
Right.
Going through the emotions now, we're talking about years after. At this point in time, it's done girlfriend, it's done married,
all right,
come back. And what has been constant is that every Christmas is a nice time. I love my Christmas.
Right.
After Christmas Eve Mass, cousins coming together. Same, we in the choir. So who are the drum? Who are the guitar? Right? Who have our tuk-tuk? Who are tambourine? We're leaving from church now. And we hungry. We hungry. I had to say that, we hungry. So we going out, everybody don't know you.
Yeah,
remember you're in church.
Of course, you're wrong.
The community know you.
The congregation is the community.
So from who living next to the church,
start.
We in front of your house. Now we ain't no Spanish, we ain't no Parang. But here we could real sing Baran.
Right.
We could sing Scrunta, we could sing Kenny J.
And your lyrics. And your melody.
And we singing and we jamming.
Nice.
Who playing, who singing, bang, and it's noise. We come in, ham. It's drinks.
Sweet bread.
We leave it. We call in. Hey, we're going on by you. Mama, I know baking bread.
Coming up.
Bread breaking up. Then we say, well, we have half an hour first. We going down here. We take.
Right.
And we jamming. So we paranging. But not necessarily with parang.
You're right. Gotcha.
We soca paranging.
Gotcha.
And the same vibes as parang band going about. And everybody grateful for the vibes because in Gasparilla especially too, a lot of people preparing for the Christmas Eve.
Right, of course. Is that overnight thing?
We're not even waking people up out of bed.
No, they're preparing.
A lot of them now reaching from church as well, but them going and put up curtains. That man, every Christmas he now painting. That is his ritual.
Right.
So he grateful for the company.
Of course.
He working.
Vibes.
And his vibes. And we going on here and we eating, we drinking, right? And it was the 2017, a man, he live in Sando. Or his girlfriend was living in Sando.
Right.
He wanted to know if he could come down there. And no, baby, can't come by you.
Yeah.
We in Gasparilla here. We in Gasparilla here, brother. We talking about Christmas Eve Mass used to be late.
Right,
past
of course.
12, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, of course.
We can't come by you. And guitar man playing that thing and I can't come by you. I can't come by you. It don't matter where you do.
Serious.
And that was the melody that led to I want to say, hey, the song like we could make a song.
Cup by me.
And just over the year 2018, I say, well, let me see thing and I realize we are right up a nice little thing. So I saw again the influence of my life. So my wife, right, recently married, and again we dealing with you get the ring on your finger and all them women and them watching you know, like if you is a piece of meat.
What do you mean?
All of a sudden.
Why do I mind? So
the whole thing.
We go cut that part out.
So the whole song was about, you know, you're trying to be faithful.
Right.
So it had this woman, Jennifer, trying to get me to come by Shannon, and she can't come by you. Right. So write up the song and say, boy, you know what? I know nothing about recording.
Of course.
Right. Before when I did the Calypso and stuff, I never went in any studio, recorded any of them.
Right. That's just for competition on the day.
Never recorded.
You rehearsed with that band. You didn't record a track or anything that band out.
It had a band for the Energy Company Calypso competition.
So in the Gasparilla and thing, how you performing?
That was me, guitar.
Serious? You just
cousin come and he play guitar.
Got you.
And I singing.
I'm with you.
Right? And that was it. So now, no experience, no knowledge, no information. I go on Facebook. And I say, well, hey.
Good place to start.
Who to check? Who to check to get a producer to sing a Soca Parang.
As opposed to looking for information.
Yeah, I
then
just...
before the day when Facebook used to allow you to do like a suggestion thing, so you just make a post.
Yeah, I just...
Oh,
my own post, right? Thing. Hey, I'm looking for a producer Soca Parang.
Right.
Right? Dennett McNichols. That's Dennett. Comment, he say Mevon Sudin.
But look who you get.
Mevon Sudin.
Explicit.
Is the man, yeah. So, again, it's 2018, so he's still... Back in the days, Mevon still not really...
Yeah, he's not who he
well
is today.
known. Yeah, not explicit Mevon as today,
just
right?
Mevon.
So it was explicit entertainment. So Mevon. I never hear about Mevon. Right, but I see a thing, bang, say cool. He tag him.
Right.
I click the tag, Mevon, message him, say, hey, I hear you see man to check for Soca Parang have a tune. He say come up and check him.
Right.
Tego Martin, right? So this time I am in Couva.
Right.
Going up Tego Martin, sing the tune for him. He say, well, yeah, I like it. And that was it. From then we started to work on it. Guitarist come in. Who it is we had? We didn't have any background vocalist. So I got Shannon Navarro did backgrounds on Come By You.
Right.
And I know Shannon from acting in a play,
right.
a production,
right.
Kona. I even know how I ended up in the play.
Oh, yeah, I was in the play too.
But I was in the play.
You built for stage and sing long.
Boy, I have no idea how I end up in that production, but that's where I met Shannon, and Shannon, brilliant vocalist, right? Shannon came down, did the background vocals on it, and that was it. Nice. No sort of headache.
Right.
We going up, Mevon was easy to work with, right? Build the music around the lyrics, thing, whatnot. And by we say we need some sort of instrument to just bring out the tune.
Right.
And I say, no longer I hear steel pan in our song.
I see.
And I thinking about who I could call to play steel pan. I know Joshua. Thing at this point in time. Yeah. But a new key on the last from secondary school.
Right. What secondary school you went?
Presentation College. San Fernando.
Man.
So
what time is this? I wonder if you could wrap up
Why are you
now.
doing that? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that?
I will scrap that question.
Yeah.
Pressman. It must be some pressman. It must happen at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
So I called Kian and boy, no hesitation, Kian say send him the track.
Right.
Send him the track. Kian send back 2 full tracks of him playing through. And then
so
Mevon,
option.
Yeah, Mevon take that and he did his magic in terms that he cut and took from both tracks what it is he thought we needed and Come By You came out. And that was really where Kiegs today started from as a Soca Parang artist.
I with you.
So it was really accidental. I didn't have no way, boy. I really need to get into this Soca Parang scene. I really need to get into this artist scene.
Wasn't deliberate.
I'm not aching to go in the studio and record and.
Right. But you realize when you sing that come by you, you have something by people reaction and all that. Or?
Why? Nah, not even.
No?
People reaction. I didn't get any sort of real positive response.
No, not to recording the song. It's more when you're house paranging. You realize you have something when you keep singing it house to house and it have a vibe. Or even then, nothing.
No, even
so
then.
So make you connect that you could go and record this.
Even then, nothing. I think what it really was is I'd like it.
I got you.
I'd like it. Right? And while I would not corroborate that I have a hell of a bag working where I work,
yeah.
I had enough money to go in the studio and record it.
We get that. Oil money, you know.
So that was really it. I'd like it. And I mean, music, as much as it is a business, is art. And it was my expression and I wanted to put it out there.
Right.
Still, no. Very nervous. Even to this day, I don't really like to write with people.
Serious?
Yeah. It's just, but I will come and ask you how the song after I have enough confidence in it.
Right, okay.
Right? And I know that's a handicap on my part. Right? But that's my little insecurity there when it comes to creating, you know? So it was really just, but I like it. My cousin who I'd say, but that could be a song thing, he like it. I run it by my wife, I run it by my mom, them like it. But the first year, when I sang Come By You, and I actually did another song, Parang Priorities, because when I did Come By You, same Facebook, A producer pop, he have a rhythm if we know any Soca Parang artists. So I comment and I say, well, look like I am one now.
Of course.
Went down by him, did Parang priorities. Nobody else came on the rhythm.
Okay.
Or whatever songs was done on the rhythm wasn't completed.
Right. Well,
so that ended up released as a single. Right. So I had 2 songs.
Right.
And
so you debuted with 2 songs in the Christmas.
2 songs in the Christmas. And it might sound like a nice thing. But my experience in that first year was nobody wants to hear me. I am now going on Facebook again. And I searching Parang event. Soca Parang event. Seeing all the events. Calling the promoters. And asking if I could come and perform for free.
Right. Promotion.
Right? Promotion. I went on Amazon and I purchased 100 flash drives. Small flash drives, nothing too big. It could only hold basically the songs.
Right.
And I carried that bars, venues, them on the streets. In Tong, Shagona, Sando, right? While they playing music, see how that song. Put that on a CD for me, mix, thing. Go on to all the radio stations. Email, leave it, trying to get interviews, thing. Our people on the radios requesting the song.
You get your own people to call.
Yeah.
Text and call.
Me begging people to perform, people telling me no. I want to come and perform for free. Nah, boy, we are not. I say, yeah, well, just come. If your Parang band reach late, you need that space filled, I go fill in. Every Parang band is reaching late.
Yeah, of course.
For Christmas, every Parang band is reaching
early.
late.
There's no such thing.
So, there 5 minutes pass. Hey, Parang band thing, go on. Nah, we 10 minutes.
So at that time, the promoters and them, they hear any song you think, or they just...
Well, I am sending them the song.
to them, but you ain't sure.
But I don't know that they even taking the 5 minutes to listen to the 2 songs.
Of course.
Right? So, there was one event done by Privy. That was the first one. Right? They say, yeah, come true. Perform down there. Again, and the Soca Parang crowd is a hard crowd. It's a hard crowd. But are there?
It's an established music. They don't want to hear nothing else.
It's people
underestimate that.
Boy, not a soul.
They move.
Nothing. A man even watch me. You swear as the DJ playing, it have nobody on stage.
All right.
No problem. When I finished, the promoter, I think it was Kelly. Kelly is his name.
Right.
He came and say, hey, good job.
Right.
Keep doing what you're doing. And that was enough. That was enough for me to say, well, hey, I don't know what the crowd's supposed to be like. This is my first time I doing it.
Right.
But if the man could come and tell me, he felt like his event had some value added.
Yeah, of course. A promoter understand, eh?
That was me. It had an event down in Princess Town. They didn't fight me long, actually. I said, I'll come and perform for you. Come true.
Right.
Same thing the crowd had. But a little 1 or 2, watchman, okay, all right. Thing, I see the faces saying, this might be something.
Yeah.
So just those little things
right.
is what really pushed me through. But that first year,
rough. But I had to ask you because most of the people who I ask this question, I start to get to expect the answer with the start of is school competitions. But I mean, you went press, so it's not much competition. But most people come through that school competition. So at least from primary school, you would hear some of the big artists talk about understanding the mechanics of a stage, connecting with a crowd, seeing what the response is. But you learn that big. You learn that live. You learn that done of a song.
Live, yeah. Yeah. That was
a big difference, eh?
And
because you know what I always notice the company competitions might not be the best gauge of it doesn't connect, right?
No. Those people in those company competitions, they came out to have a good time. The average Chinbegoonian didn't come out to have a good time. They came out for you.
And
and they came out for you to make me have a good time.
Yeah.
I come
out
here,
work.
brother. Yeah.
I'm with you. But there's DJ, you're on stage, he's entertainer, he's bartender. You had to work.
I ain't come out here to just, have a nice time just so, brother. Right? But I pay my money, I didn't. I out here. What you could do to make me smile.
Of course.
What you could do.
And if you can't do it, it's on the back. Yeah. Rough, different.
No. Even with the radio, my music wasn't playing on radio.
So that first year, you didn't get much radio play at all. You hear it at all on the radio?
Here's what happened. Here's what happened with that. The radio stations were not playing the music at all. But because people were requesting the music constantly, it had one Sunday, Mr. Gerard on Sweet 100.
Right.
Say, boy, too much people asking to hear this song.
Yeah, to find it.
He played from YouTube.
Played
from YouTube, and then other people know. Say, hey, that song nice, boy, sing, whatnot.
Right.
And then he messaged me on Instagram and asked me to send these songs to him now.
Okay.
Right? And it's after that, that's basically when I had the opportunity to say, go do interviews on Sweet 100, get the music start to play.
Okay, good.
But without him, just
It's
doing that piece of charity for me, I would have still be here begging people to, send in a request. Let me see what we could do. And it's flash drive and
Yeah.
Right? So it was still that uphill fighting. And the songs started to play little bit by little bit. So up to now, you could still hear Come By You on the radio every Christmas. Nice. Right? The venues and performances, I feel like, boy, people don't like Parang.
Right.
People don't like Soca Parang.
Oh, people don't like Soca Parang, you feel?
People like to lime.
Right. It's not about the music.
People like to lime. The average performance for me is reach down to the venue and is soca playing or dancehall
even
playing,
in Christmas
or chutney playing. It could even be reggae playing. Folks, we now have some entertainment.
Oh man,
I know. Have to run out.
I like it.
And sing Soca Parang. We spending Christmas cheer here now in between.
Of course.
And as soon as I done perform, it's back to dancehall, chutney, reggae, soca, right? And again, that's probably, I can't even blame the DJ. Because he probably there.
Yeah, he had to entertain people.
He probably there whole night and he playing Christmas, and he realizing that he playing Christmas and it not doing anything. Well,
you say it, he people waiting for he to entertain them. So if they didn't entertain them, stand up.
So he doing what he have to do as well.
Of course.
But that has been my experience a lot of the time. Even in the Christmas events. Christmas, there's joking.
Right.
It don't be a Christmas event. As much as we are parang long by this bar.
It advertises parang, but sing a parang now.
You'll get 1 hour parang and that's 6 hours.
Yeah.
Between the parang band and Soca Parang artists, you have 1 hour.
And people upset when they see the thing that the people see that as a dip in the event sometimes. Because I suppose in your earliest days, you're not doing NPAT events, you're not in that circuit or anything yet.
No, nothing yet. Nothing yet. So I still trying to, on my own, find little spaces where I could fit in.
Right.
So the NPAT events now is where you'll find
the parang lovers,
the parang crowd. And there's still more parang, eh? So
parang.
Yeah, what's the thing on that end now?
It's in a rock and a hard place.
So now on that end and all, them are too interested in me.
Oh, I got you.
On that end now because
that's not parang.
Them come for
them
parang,
is purists. Yeah.
Parang. Them come for parang.
Yeah,
them really come for that Soca Parang thing because that is the thing now. So for a lot of authentic parang lovers, Soca Parang is a sort of watered down and no fault of theirs necessarily. They're not in love with Soca Parang because most of it has been smart. So the disillusion immediately when you hear Soca Parang artists, you're thinking it's just our next man coming again to sing some sort of bacana, some sort of rudeness, right? But my music has largely not been on that wavelength at all.
Yeah, I'd ask you that as a writer. Is that deliberate? Because when you listen to your music, you do a lot of double entendre. As a writer, I was here with Ozzy Merrick a couple of weeks ago, right? And he was talking about a song he had named Fan Mapolori. No, of course, you can see where that goes as a writer, right? Because you say he had this big message about family business and his husband and wife going around the savannah. He said nobody got that. Everybody here, Fan Mapolori. And Christmas started to become a lot like that with Soca Parang over the years. Somewhere it went from Maria to several different or types of double entendre that they're on the edge. And you find a way to do it that is not, it could never be said to be crass or to be lewd. Right. Or is that deliberate for you as a writer?
Yes. And it's just come from a place of catering to the audience. Right? So before I started music, I was an event host. And my whole...
Oh, so your hosting started before music?
Long before.
Really?
Long before. I was hosting events from 2009. And
Serious?
That was with Quasi's wedding. Actually.
Oh, I got you.
Right?
The next man responsible for my Achilles rupture, whether indirectly or not, because he's family to Kiegs.
So I always I got into it just from necessity on his part, he needed someone to do it. But then people kept calling me to do it. And it was kind of like from a service.
Right.
Performing a service. I kind of like serving people, you know, asking a smile on your face and making your special day even better. That kind of vibes. So when I was coming into the Soca Parang scene, I felt like it had enough of that. The crass, the not so much double entendre.
Yeah, not too double.
Yeah, so
not too double.
It had enough. So the audience have that. Like, yes, somebody might say, well, Kiegs, why don't sing? I say, well, but you could get that from any other artist. It's there already. So the section of the audience that might appreciate my music in terms of it not being the bacchanal or the smut or crass, you know, might be smaller, but they are still part of the audience.
Of course.
So there's still Christmas music coming out. We have who looking for, hey, where the rude tunes. But it have a section of people who home cleaning the house with the children.
Of course.
And they want to be able to put on music that everybody could listen to.
Yeah.
Right? So I just cater to that part of the audience so that the entire audience have something for Christmas.
I would tell, and it's something that I continue to observe because even double entendre is such a Trinidadian term because the first word is in English, the next one is in French. This is how
We don't know how we do it.
No.
We don't know how we do it.
But the thing is, double meaning does not mean smut. Because one of my favorite songs from you is like Pay Me.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you for the first time doing Pay Me. Yeah? Again, I don't know who you are at the time. And my father and I have a band, Ken Kobe and Friends. We play in the circuit. And it's so funny when you talk about it coming from the church and going house to house because we too know no Spanish. So we really just singing a few Soca Parang so we can start to sing Gina and Dinah and Melda and them thing, right? That's what I know as House Parang. And I was at a school in Monrepo.
Right.
They had a performance and almost exactly what you say is what happened. The Alahad brothers and sisters, they have a band. I forget the name. All of them is doctors. They have a Parang band. I think it's Dr. Alahad is his name. Or he and his sisters. Tight. Very good band. And they asked us to perform, and I think our engineer, something happened, and the guy who's usually set up the stage for us didn't show up. And we our side of just comparisons is 4 or 5 people, right? We have guitar, quattro, box bass, and a mara. And we come in to jam some tunes in a school. You're going on a stage, nobody paying attention to what happened on the stage because it's almost like set up like a bazaar. And we went on, and their engineer kind of helped us with leveling out and things. So we do a couple tunes, do we scrunch and thing, and we out. We just jam it. We just get space and we do it. And I remember being ready to leave the venue, and you come on, and you do Pay Me. And I find it's such a clever song in terms of how you write it, but somewhat Pay Me is a double entendre, right? So if people don't know it, the song is about you want to go by people's house, you're hungry like you say, you're looking for Pay Me, but you say nobody ain't want Pay Me because that's how Soca Parang is to our music, you know?
Yeah.
And somewhere along the line, double entendre in this country start to mean rudeness and slackness. Yeah, it don't really mean that.
It had no entendre. I feel like
sometimes it's a little direct.
So it's almost like if they hear the entendre, and they feel that because it's French night, have a kind of that don't mean it had nothing to do with meaning. That entendre.
Yeah.
So right. So just a piece of info, I went to Monrepo RC, yeah?
Oh, serious?
So that is why I was there.
I understand.
My mom was a teacher at Monrepo RC as well. So that's how come I was there.
Got you.
Right? So when I was doing or writing Pay Me, again, it was to have the double entendre, but catering to the audience who not necessarily looking for the rudeness because we were double meaning. We wanted to be clever. Right, we're looking for a nice melody, but we already have if 20 songs released for the season.
You know, people pay attention to some artists when they do double, but they don't even hear the ones that they don't hear. Some of the ones that they don't hear, bad.
Yeah,
it's rough. It coarse on the ears, especially as I get to my age.
It have some of those songs cannot play on the radio.
Yeah, it's rough. It
cannot play on the radio.
But I ask you, Kiegs, you think it's our ears get, I always ask this when I recording by myself. Is it my ears getting sensitive as I get older? Because we do listen to a lot of, let me say Kenny G as an example, God bless his soul, right? Who did it for a long time. There's so many songs, A Woman Brush, I suppose in the 80s, that was a song real coarse. Is it that our ears get more sensitive as we get older? What do you feel?
No, that paintbrush is probably as crass as it gets.
That's the top of the hill.
But why I would always defend it is because as a child, I had no idea what that song was about.
I'm with you.
As a child, I was singing I Want My Brush, and as far as I could remember in my head and my process, when I am thinking about that song, it had no video, right? But I am seeing a man trying to paint, and you want to paint the kitchen, and you want to paint the living room, and I want my brush.
Yeah.
Right? Not until teenage years, I started...
And here now, when it become obvious, it's become real.
I'm real singing it now. I want to hear it more. You don't even have to be Christmas. I'm looking for it.
You want to...
But that's why I will come to the defense of paintbrush, because as a child, I don't know what that's about.
I find that to be the case for a lot of them in the time. Yeah.
So, a lot of the music was so very clever. So paintbrush, right? Kenny J, Alexander.
Right.
Now, for some, it might sound obvious. I want a lick.
No.
I want a lick.
Yeah.
Right? What would have probably helped in my case is my mom's song like them had actually know Alexander, who he was talking about. So Kenny J used to always lime in South and thing and whatnot. So if you're from South, more than likely, in that generation, you cross parts with Kenny J, right?
Right.
So Alexander was a real person.
I see.
So what them saying is, Alec they used to call him Alec.
Oh, really?
So again, his life inspires the art,
With you.
So yes, it could be a nice like I want Alec, and you feel everybody, ooh, I want Alec.
Yeah, like that.
And Kenny J hold on to it, but he know, and Alec probably said, when you can watch this man doing it my name now, boy. Them calling me Alec, right? Baron. She goes startable if I ain't come.
Yeah.
I was probably in my 20s.
Yeah, when you're in there.
Before that occurred to me, what the song...
Because was he hidden meaning?
The song's so well written that as a child or even a teenager picturing what the song is talking about, I am relating it to, boy, people is really want me come by them for Christmas and I can't reach by them and things like that. So, no, I'm not sure that our ears is getting old.
Okay.
It's not old. I feel it's fed up.
Yeah.
Because we going through it every year, and it's just distasteful in some cases.
A lot of it direct. A lot of it is not hidden. I forget the hidden parts of it.
And what I feel hurts as well, right? If it's on the surface subliminally, it hurts because it's Christmas.
Right. Yeah, of course.
It's Christmas.
Of course.
At the end of the day, it's still Christmas. And even if it's not a religious outlook you have on Christmas, Christmas is still supposed to be a kind of happy, it's family. It's not supposed to be this Juve morning. And I even feel my Juve morning need to be.
Yeah, that bad neither. Right? I will tell you something that I observe, right? And you get into it almost similarly to us, where it's house parang.
Yeah.
I think people who never had that house parang experience mightn't understand people like your complaints, because when I have to go in somebody's house, Christmas morning, I always remember going and parang with my father in Gasparilla itself. And them days are lost in the back of Gasparilla. I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
And the other guy was with us. The man could sing. He had good little songs. He's write his own songs. So inside, of course, he excited to sing his own song. But and daddy only hushing up the man. But I said, but why you let the man sing his song? So we reach by a house.
Oh, God.
And daddy make her wrongs. I said, boy, sing your tune, boy. Let me hear it. And I pick up and I go into them. Boy, that man's song is, I ain't buying Catering bag. So I know how to tell you the rest. Kiegs are feeling a how now because people house Christmas morning, people come out in the duster coat, they sing long, and you know how you don't know is people religion, the background, the tolerance for smut. So I can understand why you would come through singing like that, because it seems as though some of the artists who in Soca Parang now might not come from any of that at all,
Well, that's a big part of it, right? You don't know what you don't know.
No, I suppose.
Right? And you might not have sensitivities to certain things. The next thing is as an artist, young or old, you're coming out there, you trying to score.
Right.
You looking far forward, right? Now, I have the benefit of, I have a day job.
Good one.
Apart from a day job, I have a side job.
Right.
As Kiegs, the event host.
Got you.
So,
only again one basket.
So, even if I come out for the season And me again, no such a gigs or people listen to my money. Life goes on for me. You know?
Yeah, and your wife have a big Zumba running the country. There's a lot of
Wow.
incomes. There's a lot of
You have a lot of incorrect
household.
information.
There's
You have a lot of
inflows. Money is
We're gonna have to do a video after this called debunking Corie Sheppard. We're gonna need that because you have some wrong info.
Salute to Tisa High. Look for it yourself. There's a lot of inflows coming in, you know.
So for a lot of these artists, they're coming out and in their head we had a score.
I understand.
So look, last season here, big up El King of Hearts.
Right.
Maria Box dead. Maria Box dead.
Right. Well.
Right. It's a little bit over the line. It's a little bit over the line, but the song is about he going to perform by somebody's house.
Right.
She bring out she box for him to perform. The box dead.
Gotcha.
Right. And if you listen to the song really sticks to that storyline. Okay. That is how the box dead. But Maria Box dead.
There's a hook.
It have some people as they hear that they completely turned off.
Of course.
But I'm telling you,
yeah, to have a big
after
crowd.
Performing with that whole Christmas season there and seeing different crowds, no Maria Box dead.
Gone.
Is a hit.
Gone.
Is a hit.
Right.
With the people.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, yes, you could want to make all the music that you want to make of a certain type. The music is not just for you.
Of course.
So yes, I want to make music and I am proud that I could put on my music and play my music.
Anywhere.
And no skips. I could listen
Any
to my whole playlist and I want to hear it. Don't skip that song. I want to hear that. I like all my music and I enjoy it.
Yes.
But the music is not just for me.
Right.
I also catering to our audience. I am happy that there are so many other men out there.
Yeah, who could fill that space?
Who will fill that space?
You don't need to.
I don't have to do it. But I cannot tell you that we do not need that music.
Yeah, well,
cannot in good conscience say that because I
people
can
want
see
it.
People want it.
Yeah.
And as long as people want it, it has a space for it.
I'm with you.
That is what the audience wants.
And the audience will control it, right? Is the audience.
That is what the audience wants. And as long as that's what the audience wants, that is what the audience will get.
Yeah, for sure.
So the artists who write in music and who looking for that forward and they're looking for that opportunity this season for my song to hit. When I perform in Nice Time,
right.
Even if I perform in PME, if I perform in Come By You, I get no kind of response that a man will get when he perform in Maria Box Dead.
Yeah.
Like, be real.
But let me ask you this. As you're talking about this, when some of these songs now, you have I was just telling you this the other day, you go end up with one of the biggest catalogs in Soca Parang, right? At the rate you go in, which is why I foresee it. But by far. Because number one, you write in your songs, right?
Yeah.
Good. And most people in that circuit not, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I go say they're not. Most. Right? So yeah, most people not writing. In any genre, it's how most people not writing the music, right? So is it your experience that when you sing a song like Come By Me, people mightn't be, you're watching it and they ain't paying no mind, but it builds over the years. You find that to be experienced now?
Boy, what I have is a hope. I have a hope.
Right.
I've not really seen it. Now, Come By You has, I don't want to say study test that time. Right. But it has been playing every season since.
Right. And the reaction when you perform it is changing over the years?
No, it is not a song that you could get a reaction from when you're performing just like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so you had to cater to the crowd.
Right.
So Come By You, before I sing it now, I will have to preface it with, boy, I write this song because I see a problem in society. Right? Ladies, all you had to stop liking people, man.
Yeah, you get attention now.
So now everybody say, wow, what that man say there? I know I could sing my song about Come By You and people paying attention.
Oh, it's you.
But all that is the entertainment and the performance.
Of course.
Right? But the song, again, is probably of more value to the man home cleaning his house with his family for Christmas.
Listening along.
Christmas Day, family come over and music playing Christmas music. That is probably where the value is. More than you're at an event and you come to your Soca Parang and you want to hear that.
Right.
A lot of people come out the event, and them feelers jump and wave. You know?
Of course, yeah. That's something that
Even
I
though
don't
the
understand because I don't go a lot of parang events like a bow and if we go into play and I go on, so I don't get to see the crowd and see how people respond to things.
So
and plus we sing in real old kaiso, so I suppose we don't have that experience.
Yeah, so it is tough.
Yeah, with you.
It is tough from that But again, it hard to predict because I wasn't around when Baron and Kenny J and Crazy and Marcia Miranda released their music.
Right.
But it would have been a different landscape for sure.
Yeah.
But over the years, now when Baron sing Come Go, I sure it didn't start off as a hit.
No. Plenty of Baron Christmas tunes take long to build. Spanish Woman is the latest example I was telling you about the other day. It was years before that song pick up.
So that is really where my hope lies in.
But remember too that is still Baron. Don't tell them fellas and them singing. I mean, his legacy cemented in Christmas.
Yeah.
But remember that at the end of the day, if the crowd sing, he could say, "I'm the Baron." You know, them as you real soca. Yeah, they used to sing crazy too.
Yeah,
they will bring the hits.
Right. So I still there with, but it's a long game. It's a long game.
I'm with you.
And even if it doesn't work out to be that in the next, say, 10, 15 years, Christmas come and Kiegs is a name synonymous with Christmas.
Yeah.
At the very least, I like my music.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I know artists who not listening to the music I hear. I know, man.
I started personally, not doing this.
It have
men
people
started to dislike this song.
They dislike the song, and that's because they did the song just with the motivation element, try and score. So the song itself, in the writing, if you wrote it, in the performing, you had no personal connection with the song. But for me, that's so important. And like I say, but I can't tell you how much of my songs is not a hit.
Yeah. But do you like your songs?
But I like it.
Well, let me tell you something. One of the things I'm going through a phase somewhere close to the middle of the year where I have some people to come here. I'll tell you some names, right? Levi Myers, Charlotte Bailey, Colonel Roberts.
Right.
The children of some of them artists. Because when you talk about 15 years as legacy, I'll put it to you like this. Whenever you decide to hang up your guns with music, your children going to be big people. And they're going to be proud to come and sing your songs. Whereas there are some people, children who's watching. I always remember Crazy a year, right? Crazy had turned Christian, but he joined like the church, you know what I mean? And he said he done with music. And couldn't perform. I mean, Crazy are legends to me. Crazy are real songs. But I went and see him perform in Central Bank. And Crazy had to sing a few explainer songs, a few merchants, which he good at doing too. But when he look back at a lot of his songs, I'm glad now we come to terms with it because it's a nice to not like your music.
What?
But he reached a point now where he performing all. Because even in soca, Crazy was always, even for his time, like Drive It and them thing, a little bit on the edge in them time too.
Little bit.
Bad songs.
You mean little bit?
Screwdriver, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was his style. But I'd ask you too, as you mentioned, building the songs, because one of the things for me, I'm not comfortable on a stage and in front of people. And I was telling you this here, I have a good partner of mine, podcast listeners too. He and his wife, no. But they come to me and ask me, I guess when you talk plenty, people feel you could host things. It's not true, right? Let me put that out there. It's very difficult, right?
Right.
And I want to talk to you a little bit about that. But I come and tell you, I say, Kiegs, here what's going on. I want to pay you to host this for me, and I'll get them that as the gift, because I think people feel like because you can talk, especially when you can talk scripted and edited, where I go and cut out half the thing, it's not the same. But you wasn't available today, so now I had to host it, and every day, I had to tell you, when Kiegs come to Sweatown, he's saying, Kiegs, what the hell I go do? Kiegs said, nah, you're going to be fine. This man give me no kind of advice at all. He said, nah, you're going to be all right. And I was all right in the end, right? But it's not something, I don't think I will do it. I wouldn't do it again. I find it to be very difficult to do.
Now, weddings especially, at least for me, this is my opinion. Right? Other people might not agree or have the insight that I would share now.
Right.
Weddings for me, very different from other events.
Right. So you host you are a host. It's not a wedding host.
Right.
You hosted.
So as an event host over the years, I have done from company dinners, the after work limes, calypso competitions, cookouts, graduations, retirement, team building, long service awards. Anything you could think of.
NGC money and the Zumba money.
Again. Now we don't do that. But when it comes to weddings, weddings are a very personal type of event, very sentimental. right? And what I feel a lot of hosts, a lot of personalities don't realize is that these people need more than a presenter. You need more than somebody who could just speak well.
Of course.
Right? So, weddings for me, favorite.
Right. Yeah. Serious.
Favorite. And for various reasons. One is, boy, I just feel like I'm in love with my wife so much. It's because every other weekend, it's like, hey, boy.
Oh, yeah, you get to revisit
I love her again, man. I pull out my phone and I say, hey, girl, I love you, and ting, bam. But every weekend, it's all good vibes. It's, as much as life could be hard,
yeah, you get
I don't even want to come and do this wedding today.
Life. I understand.
Yeah, but them love, boy. Yeah, them people real happy for them, boy. And just that sense of, wow, look, it's just good vibes all around. Just kind of keep me up. The next thing is too, not a lot of the time in this life, you get to see in real time, immediately, how whatever work you're doing inspires or affects others.
I thought you was going to say immediately if they're going to make it or not.
No, we don't go through that. That is not my job as the host.
I was like, the edge of my scene, like...
Yeah, what's the thing? Suppose I analyze that and I realize, well, I shouldn't get married. Why are you going to do?
Oh, yeah, you have your work to do.
I have money to make.
Yeah.
Why are you going to tell you don't get married? Boy, hey.
Deposit that thing.
Let we hope for the best here. Let we hope for the best here.
You never know how it could turn out.
But, like, say the podcast. You don't get to see how a man reacts home watching it. No, he might like, and they get inference that
of course,
a man enjoys.
It's completely disconnected.
But you don't get to see his reaction in real time.
With you.
But I on stage there at a wedding, I could see a man come in here and he looking like, boy, I'm not sure I really wanted to be here today. I had so much things to do, but
I like
it's taking up time, right? And I could take him from that place, and 2 hours later, see that this man looking forward to what coming next. Wait, hey, his whole demeanor changes. Hey, yeah, now we having fun here today, boy. There's good vibes. Thing. A man come after and I say, hey, boy, how long you know the groom? Thing, hey, you who cousin? Thing, I don't know them. But at the end of the day, like that, to see that in real time, to see our bride not having a good day because photos take too long or something I reach on time, and being able to, hey, you relax. From now, this year, reach back here for the reception. From now till I leave, you don't worry about nothing.
Right.
Have a good time. And putting that on my back and seeing that transformation from her frustration, from her fatigue, from just, boy, this is my wedding day too. This is my wedding day. That for me is a big deal, right? So weddings now, people just feel you come and you just talk.
Yeah, it's not.
To host a wedding properly, you had to meet people before.
Yeah, so when you talk about some of these questions people are asking you, they feel you know the people long because your process starts long before the wedding.
Yeah. So I'm meeting with you, and it's not just a meeting to ask the questions. The information I get from asking the questions is important. But what I am leaning on the most in that meeting is how you interact with me and how you interact with each other.
Yeah, a vibe.
Because when you see me host a wedding for Jim and Corie last week, it can't be the same wedding I hosting for Tom and Wendy this weekend.
Yeah, next thing you know, they invite Jim and them. Oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah, but you have no script.
Even if it don't have the same people, remember this is your wedding.
Of course, you're trying to...
It should be different, just by rights.
Of course.
Just by rights, it should be different. So, I now have to understand what my delivery could be. Jim and Corie could be slackers. I could say real shippiness on that stage and them, hey, boy, this man funny, boy. Yeah. When I come now by Tom and Wendy, they want to know, boy, you out of time and so what you saying there? And it's because, so simple things I ask people like, what's your family like? Simple adjectives, the religious, the laid back, they're not serious, or a lot of them in corporate life, entrepreneurs, yet, let me know. Just, and from that, I will gauge what the guests that are coming to should see from me. Right? Like, I don't want to be there thinking, well, yo, everybody here is lively and is here. Them coming for a fete. And when them come, them still in wedding ceremony mode,
like they need church.
Because the most important thing to them is, you remember, is God bless this thing and whatnot. And I come out here like, hey, if I didn't know how these two meet there, them whining in a fete. And them just stop whining till this day.
Oh yeah, you lost them
and
from the
gates.
Saying,
what is man doing? Right? But it have some weddings where you could start off
that's
like
the
that.
expectation, I suppose.
You come there now and you want to say, well, folks today we gathered and we want to just be thankful that God has blessed us wedding again. It's had two priests, so it had two priests now. So that is what I gauging the personalities, and I trying to figure out where's the best performance for me to sit down in this space, because catering to the crowd, the audience, and catering to the couple is not the same thing.
No.
And it takes a lot of effort to marry it and bring it together. Right? So you need that process, get the information, find out about them. And it's take by days, different days. I sit down, I have nothing to do. I pull out my notes and I going through and I'm thinking about it. It has some days I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have a little tidbits, right? But during the wedding, I host on the fly.
Yeah, of course.
So a man might come and make a speech and I bouncing off of him. I don't make up my mind. I say, no matter what this man say, I'm so good. I have it.
Yeah.
Whatever you say, I'm bouncing off of.
Right.
Sometimes, man, leave me air.
Yeah.
Stranded in the desert. A man come up and say, well, I don't really have much to say. I just want to say congratulations to the bride and groom. And they like, I really tell myself I'm bouncing off of you. Yeah. So, right. But I tell myself I'm bouncing off of these things to make it right. But I had all my notes in place and like I driving up the road and something hit me. And I realized, wait now there's a better angle.
Right.
So it could even, so weeks I work down the drain, but
course.
I still focus on what's the best thing for the couple, what's the best thing for the guest on the day. Plenty times after our wedding, people come, hey, you was real good, your real was that wedding nice. I going home sad, I not feeling good.
Yeah.
Because I remember 5 things I could have said out. I mean, everything I do, they be better.
Thanks for saying that, because I go through that every week now. Every week now I study and I should ask him this, I should ask him that, I should have talked to him. But how long your weddings in particular, how long you hosting now, about how long?
But from 2009.
Oh, so, yeah, it's
that was the first one.
Gotcha. So,
yeah.
But you have if I come up there and I say, cheers.
Yeah.
Then I go on and you have plans, but you have enough experience to...
Yeah, so depending on how the crowd is, right? Remember, I feeling how the crowd from since the cocktail hour.
Right.
So I could kind of sense how loose we are, right? Or still how, we still a little, we still cool. We are really warm up that much. But a man could come up there and just hit it a short one.
Yeah. And you had to go.
Yeah. And I can say, we have somebody in the crowd who knows he could have done better than that.
Right.
Oh. Right. And everybody laugh, rah, 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 and he shake his head, yeah, boy, for real. Like, what they make me come up here and talk for? And it's like, but stop our wedding, you cannot do that.
Of course.
A man insulted people like, how you gonna do the man that? How you gonna shine up that man? But have somebody else you can come up there and properly roast everybody, you know.
Cool. And that's the best time of their life.
And them telling you, you're getting thumbs up. You're getting thumbs up from your man. Yeah, boy. And you could roast. So different situations, but what you could do too, what I do a lot of is I am a married man. So I have different things to draw on. So I might just use a personal experience. Again, I have so much information from these couples. At any point in time, I could draw on that. Right? So a man might just say congratulations thing. And I just say, well, boy, we saying congratulations. But this man said the hardest part about me and married, he feel going and be he can't cook. Right? And it's just little funny moments just based on information that I already have. But it's just knowing how to, when to,
of course,
if to, most importantly, because it might have some weddings where you don't say nothing.
Okay.
That man come and just say, congratulations to the bride and groom. And you say short and sweet, just like we like it. Next up, we have, and we go down the road.
So like an MC.
We go down the road because I am not a comedian.
Right.
So, if you're looking for me to hit your joke every minute, you're in the wrong place. But what I've come to realize is, when you get people on your side early on, you could do anything after that.
There's no joke.
So during the cocktail hour, I am building relationships. Even if I'm not on the mic, everything all right?
Right.
You're good? Yeah, you all good? You enjoy any drinks? You try this? Yeah, this thing tastes real nice. And these people start to feel like if we are friends.
Right.
By the time the receptions start, it's not strangers I hear with. It's my buddies.
Yeah, it's part of it.
All you want to hear what I have to say, you know?
Yeah.
And that's a big part of just gaining the trust and the attention of the audience. So when I start off with a nice intro, I realize, and I could see it on your face, like, I have you in my pocket.
Right.
I have you in my pocket. Right?
Oh, you might just die?
Yeah, boy. Wow. What is that about?
Try that up, That happened every now and again.
Yeah. So When it is I have that confidence now,
Just push this back up.
right?
Yeah.
Even if somebody leave me in a space where I don't really have much to bounce off of, I tell myself, I'll get them next time.
Right.
Somebody else coming, I'll get them next time.
Go.
Right? You hope for the best now.
Yeah.
You could probably get 2 in a row. But if you got 3 in a row, the other one, what are you here for?
Yeah, bring something. Well, you see, this is where my problem ended up with this damn wedding hosting thing, because I start to see what hosts go through. And I mean, everything I do is a lot more scripted than people think, right?
Yeah.
Because lecture for a long time, talking on the podcast and things. But I know what I come to say. Most of the times, I'm very nervous in front of crowds, so I cool with you see that talking in a room by yourself and then put it out 2 weeks after, I feel that's my sweet spot. Talking live in front of people, I just feel like I don't want to say this, I don't want to say the wrong thing. And so I'm very, very, very scripted. No, I will not read anything. I will talk like it will not feel scripted most of the time. I've been doing it for a long time. So, but I have, like you say, I have a structure as to where I feel it could go. And it's the same thing coming here. I will driving over the lady on something that's happened. Every time I come to interview somebody, I say, all right, I have it now. But that is here, right? In a wedding, I forget you have to study who mother-in-laws talk soft, who don't like to talk into mic. It have a woman, when she came to talk, right? This was the mother of the bride or the groom. No, I talking to her, had to do thing going good, right? I say, right, I just looking at the end of this, I will get through. And she come and start to talk. And no matter where you put the mic, she move away from it. She wants to talk to them directly. This is a big audience. And I'm struggling now because I've come on and think, I said, nah, boy, this thing will be good. I fix the mic. Because I would have thought our people might think that it's just about who could talk, who funny, who personable.
Yeah.
But it is, what I underestimated is how much things you're managing to make sure the people have a good day.
Yes.
That's what it is like for you.
It is. And a lot of the time, it is exactly like that.
Yeah.
You're managing a lot more than what you came to do.
Just talking, yeah.
And it's never just talking. Even if it's just talking, it's still being able to talk and deliver, right? But a lot of people don't realize how much things could go wrong in a wedding. Or how many things need to be controlled.
Yeah.
So I depend a lot on a good coordinator.
Right.
The better your coordinator is, the better I am on it.
Yeah, thank God I had that. I was lucky to have that.
So if your coordinator is great, you get probably the best Kiegs you could get on the day. Because all I had to focus on is what I do. If your coordinator not good,
problems, you turn coordinator now.
Everybody who have a problem comes to me.
Yeah, I guess use the face.
Because I am the face this year. We don't have no cutlery on this table. No problem. I saw that out here. But now I have to go and tell a man, yo, it's no cutlery. If that cutlery do go there, they come back to me. Hey, we still get the cutlery. Hey, don't worry. I'll fix it for you now.
Yeah.
Go back. Let me get the cutlery there. I had to take that cutlery personally now. That time I could have been here just observing the crowd and realizing what needs to be done where at what time.
But Kiegs, you take that on yourself. You take ownership of the...
Again, I come back to service.
Right.
I am deeply invested in your wedding being the best wedding it could be. Now, yes, I'm not doing it for free. You had to pay me to come here. But when I come to host, I'm not going to say, well, so I've come to a wedding before, where everything running late. Chairs had to pack out.
Right.
I hear. I'm not going to sit down and wait. And then when whoever come to pack the chairs now had to pack the chairs and be delaying things further.
Here you go help.
But I pass a pack out chairs for a whole wedding already.
Wow.
Then when they finally reach the say, well, nah, it's not supposed to be here. And we had to move it, but still.
I like that.
We pack it out. So really and truly, I am there to make your day better.
Right.
If your coordinator are not doing the work, I'm not going to quarrel with the coordinator and say, well, hey, you had to do X, Y, Z, and so by so, now is any time for that. I doing what I could to make it better. So, if I'm an ask for extra glass, no problem. Somebody throw down something with a new tablecloth, sure, no problem. You need somebody to handle that. No, I'm not going to try to do it myself.
Oh, yeah, but it help it.
But I'll let somebody know, hey, that needs to be done. Right? Again, another person might say, well, that's not my work. But you have to realize, everything that disrupts the event makes your job now harder.
And I guess it could also make you look like not the greatest host too, and your future work.
People having a bad time. It's people having a bad time,
How it's you.
At the end of the day, when people remember they had a bad time,
yeah, they're gonna remember everything
them had a
associated
bad
with it,
time
yeah.
in that wedding that Kiegs host. That's how that's the headline.
Of course.
That
That's
is
the headline.
Kiegs host bad wedding reception. That is the headline.
Yeah, your future work looking bleak.
So it's at times you are the program and I see host and I looking at time to cut the cake. I should not go and run down the newlyweds and say, well, hey, time to go up on the stage as the coordinator job.
Right.
But people getting antsy and time going. I can't sit down and say, well, nah, I wait till the coordinator handle that.
Yeah, it's affecting your product.
Plenty times too, coordinators will come and tell me, hey, time to cut cake. And I watch them like,
Yeah,
time to cut cake.
Right. Oh, they were using.
Yeah, so now, both are you watching each other, right?
What will happen?
Somebody had to get the newlyweds, yeah. So, them around the room, time to cut cake. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, let's go.
Who doing this here now? But I eating, I drinking, But I feel like my personality is so laid back, so helpful.
Yeah.
It's
Also
like,
very adjustable. Eh? You think about it, you don't want to fit into wherever the audience is or whoever the people are.
And that's another thing about me. And I mean, not to pat myself on the back, but still.
That's what you're here for.
I know some hosts who will not go by people's houses.
Yeah.
House, community center, Hyatt.
Oh, you mean if
I
the
am
wedding
there.
is by the house, they wouldn't go?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, I am
you don't care where the
anywhere.
venue is. You're about the bride and the groom.
Brother, you could afford my costs, right? And sometimes you can't, but I understand,
Right.
right? You meet me not halfway. Halfway is not enough. I'm saying that halfway is not enough. You don't meet me about 80% ways,
That's fair.
right? But there are people who I could honestly see by there's all you could afford.
Yeah, and you go work with them.
I come in, especially if it's a good month. I done have 3-4 weddings, no problem.
Yeah.
How much you have? I come on down. I buy a house. Now, yes, everybody's wedding deserves some level of sophistication. And I bring in that. But some people I don't understand too. You bring me down by your house here and I gauging your audience and your crowd.
Yeah.
All that sophisticated Kiegs.
You're responsible for the vibe.
He out of place here.
I understand what you mean.
He out of place here. So, yes, speaking properly, speaking clearly, but I had to meet people where they are.
Of course.
Right? It have a wedding I went to already, I come in suit, 3-piece thing, bam. When I see what's going on, I take off my jacket.
That's what I was going to ask you. You tend to, based on the wedding, so for instance, if you have a Hindu wedding or you adjust the way you look like and everything to suit
Exactly.
that.
Exactly.
How it's you.
Because you don't necessarily want to stand out. What we need to realize, whatever you might be in the wedding,
right.
DJ, decorator, you don't want to stand out, you know. Everybody needs to complement each other. This is not the wedding decorated by you. This is not the wedding hosted by Kiegs. This is just this
people wedding.
Whoever wedding it is, this is their wedding. That is the spotlight, you know. Yes, I want to be a good host.
Right.
But I don't ever want that after somebody's wedding, they feel like it was Kiegs and concert.
Yeah, use the most memorable thing. I was going to ask you that, I know, because if I had songs, right, Kiegs, I'll tell you something right now. And you give me a mic and I think to promote. I carry it by bar. I carry it on the radio station. I carry it all about. And people in blame might say, I telling you what's going to happen now, you know, because, boy, listen, I open it, pay me.
No.
Follow the gate. Me introducing bride no group.
I can't bring myself to do that. I can't bring myself to do that.
But
No.
people request it sometimes, I'm sure.
Yeah, so like Christmas.
Yeah, people want to hear.
Even out of Christmas, look, I have a wedding weekend coming up.
Right.
She is telling me, yeah, sing your songs.
Nice.
And I'm telling her, I'm not singing Soca Parang.
Right. That's what I want.
I'm not singing Soca Parang until, well, if I dare and I realize that the audience saying, hey, wait, now this Kiegs. You see Soca Parang, let me get some tunes. That's different. That's totally different.
Of course.
But I'm not coming out of myself to disrupt the flow I have here. And this is where it is important for me to understand who I am in different scenarios. When I'm performing, Soca Parang, especially as Kiegs, I am not host Kiegs. When I'm hosting an event, I am not Soca Parang Kiegs. Right? Same way. If you're calling Kiegs to host an event, you can't pay him the same thing you want to pay Soca Parang Kiegs.
I would imagine.
Right? But Soca Parang Kiegs going cheap.
Yeah. Early. So the weddings is
Soca Parang Kiegs, when you call Soca Parang Kiegs, your rate song is nice.
different price.
when you call Kiegs event, host Kiegs,
Right.
the price not all that nice.
I
And
see.
you not really negotiating either, you know?
Yeah, well, you're free.
Soca Parang Kiegs
Yeah,
might be
man.
on the phone a while, and you know, well, all right, I could do this for you and ting. Event host Kiegs lane, you know. Well,
This is what it
no
is.
thanks.
Okay, so young couples, here what to do, right? When you're getting married, book it on a Friday night. It's like, take one for the team here. Just pay your wedding on a Friday night, call Soca Parang Kiegs, pay the Soca Parang price, and hope for the best. You never know what will happen. Hope for the best. That might be
Like bad advice. Bad advice.
But you know, you're saying that is different people showing up, but it's almost like one of the things I talk to my father about when we performing a lot is the playing and singing on stage. I think I get over that a little bit, White Oak and so on, you know? That don't bother me. But you know what's real bother me? Talking in between songs, like introducing a song, saying, like how you say easily there, I go make a joke about this, say this woman, take this man, and I go, it seemed like there's a marriage between the two things.
So it helps at that point in time, but it still has some gaps,
Right.
because the host Kiegs might get wrong.
Right.
He might get wrong.
Yeah.
Soca Parang Kiegs might know better what to say here at that point in time.
I got you. So it's the mode, mentally, and everything are with you.
So you're really depending on the skill that host Kiegs have, but you really had to be Soca Parang Kiegs in that moment, and because host Kiegs is not no slacker really to say, telling you know, but Soca Parang Kiegs might have to jump out a little bit and realize, so you know, if it's Maria Box the dead, or they would have rah and thing.
Nobody quickness in the brain helping.
Well, yeah, so yes,
I suppose.
So you're still joining on these skills, but it's still two different personas.
I would imagine.
They really need.
I would imagine.
Because in terms of event hosting, right? I use a skill.
Right.
And the skill is what you want. Sonny Bling to JW. Give me.
You got you.
Right?
I got you.
No. If you want Sonny Bling,
you could get it.
100. No, you can't.
Yeah, go by
That's how you call Sonny Bling.
I would say.
You walk close to Sonny Bling, all right.
You could go.
I could get you close to Sonny Bling. Right. You want JW? I could probably get you JW. But again, don't look for exactly JW, because you still had to get
still had to be you.
My persona, my personality. Right. But that's my skill. What you're looking for.
But my question too was like, for instance, who I had last? Oh no, I had Ben Guy here recently. He said he done a lot of weddings and that kind of thing. And one of the things that I realized in putting up his episode is I thinking, okay, this man talking about some of these things, and he's talk real matter of fact. He's talk real cool. He's so humble. And I thinking, if I could have built anything he's talking about, I would be on top of this table talking about it. He's amazing. But his work, he was saying part of asking him and getting more work. His work is private, like weddings. It's like somebody private thing that's their pictures and their videos. So I wonder sometimes when you have to promote yourself next, how do people get to know who Kiegs is so they know Kiegs can host my wedding?
Right. So that's a bit of the difficulty. I do get a lot of footage that I could use for myself.
I'd imagine.
Because some couples are uncomfortable with their weddings being out there. Right? And then some is like, I'm not comfortable putting your wedding out there. But I try to get little clips here and there. Sometimes I might do a reel.
Right.
And
I'll see some of them.
I try to escape the intimate moment. So I wouldn't put up cutting your cake, your first dance, these kind of things. Unless you're okay with it.
Okay.
Right? But I tend to focus more on just generically decor. Look, I eat something earlier. Look, I drink something. Now, the mic on me here. I don't really have the couple in the background or anything like that.
Yeah, so you don't go live in people's wedding?
No. No.
Like that's what I would do.
No,
See you later.
some people do.
All right.
Some people do.
I've seen it.
But that's just not my style. Because it come like, it very parallel to me and how I feel like I'm serving you on the day. I get to make your wedding better. Also, I'm not trying to, after the fact, upset you. There was one time, did our wedding, everything was good, right? And I did a TikTok.
Right.
It wasn't the first time I've done it, right? So what happens sometimes is I always take a picture with the couple. Sometimes I am the one smiling. And them looking serious. And it could just be that that's just how they take pictures.
Of course, yeah.
No problem, no nothing. But it had a comedian reel. That was what's his name, boy? Dion something.
Cool.
Yeah. So it was a joke where he was saying some guys approach him to take a picture. When he take the picture with them, he's smiling and everybody else mugging.
Right.
So now it looked like I wanted to take a picture with all you. So that's basically the audio I use it, right?
Yeah.
You all could told me you weren't gonna smile.
Right.
Now it looks like I wanted a picture with you all. So it's not the first time I use it.
Right.
It was never a problem.
Yeah, they didn't like it.
Put it up on TikTok, whatnot. Get a message. Say, could take down that picture. You know, thing we don't really like it. Thing, whatnot. No problem. Sorry about that. Apologies.
Of course.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That bothered me for weeks.
I would imagine.
That bothered me for weeks because that will happen with me.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the forefront of me approaching weddings is me trying to make sure that I'm not stepping on any toes. I don't want a bad memory for your wedding to be associated with me at all.
Of course.
Right? So, after that experience especially,
Yeah, I would imagine. I don't tell you, Kiegs, that part of the reason you're here. Because let me tell you something. When I done talk to people here, again, my goal really, my purpose is to make sure that light shed on people who make impact, you know what I mean? Who make it, who doing positive things. So I approaching this thing very, very pure. When I leave here and man say, well, you let this man say this and I can't sleep when the night comes. So I say, boy, let me get Soca Parang people and wedding hosts because everybody happy. Because you see pan people, promoters,
yeah, the things to say.
It's rough.
So
what I have to do is I have to do pan, promoter, artist, Soca Parang and wedding going forward because it's a big gap. I understand how you feel because I guess you're such a part of the sense of somebody's special moment in their life. Yeah.
To hear that somebody just unhappy or disappointed in something.
Or even associating something negative with the best day of their life.
Exactly. Right. That to me, I looking to not be the reason for that at all. At all.
It's something that I always watch your social media and I'm impressed with. I see the care you treat couples with. And not to compare to any other wedding host, I'm sure everybody great, but sometimes it seems as though, like for my wedding, for instance, I made the fatal mistake of, like just now when you were talking about singing Soca Parang in a wedding. I come from a Parang family, both sides. So when I have a Stacy uncle, when my father gone for gigs and I gone from a quarter ask him way box bass, he said, I leave at home, I thought it was a wedding. I was like, boy, go for it. What are you talking about? I have nothing we do as a family without that.
Yeah.
So I was thinking it would be ideal for you to come and sing Soca Parang in our wedding. But then I was going to say, well, we get married in, but I couldn't remember the month. So I decided I would skip that question. Because I know I'm looking for them kind of problem. And it turned out to be December anyway when I cycled through mine. No. But when you're there and you bring that to the table, it's like I made the mistake of not hiring a host or not hiring a coordinator. We got married during COVID. We had a limited amount of numbers too. And I felt that because my father could talk. So I say, if you could host. But I realized that wasn't the best decision because now he's so focused on doing what he had to do that his speech was, or even things like you talk about, I did it in Hilton. And while my father was giving his speech, that's something I'm looking forward to for my whole life. And while he giving his speech, they brought the bill and thing for me to sign. So I try to sign
and that should have been the coordinator work.
Well, here now, me I'm not going to tell you how bad it was. When time to stick the cake, because you know we, right? Kiegs, Stacy drunk and I drunk like a fish by the time we reach here now, when we reach across the thing, I walk in on Stacy dress, me know where she to go.
Yeah.
When we reach, I say, well, how is taking this cake? I have no idea what is the photographer. Salute to Mark Anthony. He come and he was like the coordinator.
Mark Anthony was my photographer as well.
Serious, he's a hell of a man. He organized everything on the day. You know what I mean? And he come and bring the knife and the whatever the hell is called them thing. And we end up having some. All I studied on the day is the cartel and then we them line up to play when I have no concept of cake sticking and all these types of things.
Boy, what is why again, like I have a lot of a young host.
Right.
Who ask me for advice and stuff. And really and truly, my biggest piece of advice is to care. You have to care. Like, you see when it's corporate, charm them.
So you do a lot of that too, right? Corporate gigs and that kind of thing.
Charm them. Corporate, have money, charm them and go down there. And yes, I'm not saying go down there and get them a half of the work.
Of course, yeah.
But charm them and you go down there and you do corporate too. Will give you a lot of information and script exactly how they want things. Weddings, not so much.
Yeah, so corporate is more like an MC presenter. You go, you thing, and
right. And you could veer off and corporate vex with you very easily. Now. They're not looking for too much of your personality necessarily, depending on the event.
I see.
They want somebody who could speak well and represent the brand and thing and whatnot. So try and stay more within the lines, but weddings, you have the color.
Yeah.
All because you don't know what the lines are.
I see.
That's the problem.
Yeah, you're learning this as you go along.
So I
It's the
always
first
tell
time,
them,
a lot of weddings would be the first time people ever in this situation. They don't know
Yeah.
exactly where it should be, I would say.
so you have to care.
Mm-hmm.
You have to care because you will see things. Look, I did a wedding last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Came to the wedding. Just me looking around, making sure everything in order. Again, just based on my experience. There is no speaker box in the dining area. There's a speaker for the ceremony, a speaker for the cocktail
So they
hour.
have a separate diner.
It have no speaker in the dining area. Let the DJ know, hey, on a box inside there, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Now the coordinator tell us everything happening right here. I say, nah,
You go fall flat on people eating.
that's not happening. No, but in the dining area is where the entire formality is happening as well.
Oh, I see.
All the intro, the
So it's just an
speeches,
oversight,
sticking
really?
at the cake. Yeah, somebody forgot to put a box or somebody forgot to let somebody know a box need to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Hey, we got a power box.
Right.
Now everything happening here. I said, yo, listen to me. We have to put a box
Okay,
in
take
there.
my stupid advice.
We have to put our box in there right now. Otherwise, we're going to start the reception. And then we're going to have to stop
Scrambling.
the reception for you to come and put our box in there.
Mm-hmm.
Serious boy thing. And we put our box and the days go on. Nobody knows. This is the first time anybody has heard that happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I not going out to say, well, hey, look, I now make the man put a box in there and all. No, because I care.
Yeah, I mean, you make the day a little better.
That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
I care.
Yeah. I see you live with the weddings. I was going to say live with the couples, right? But Tisa Haina. You see you live with the weddings for long after the wedding done. So, and that caring shows. Like, you carry them with you a little bit after the thing is done.
A lot of the time, too, and I could understand why, people feel that connection. And it's almost like we are friends.
Right.
Some of the times we actually do become friends. And it's not necessarily I come in and check you on the weekend, friends.
Right. Yeah.
But it's still I respond to a story. I see something. I see everybody's anniversary.
I was just going to ask that. The anniversary.
And I send a little message. Hey, congrats. Nice to see you. They're still together. Right? Some stories I see and they're not together.
Yeah.
And
so now you have
I leave that day. I just leave that day. Whoa, I don't know. I don't know that that's how this works at all.
When two become
but
four.
You see that too, another recent experience where and it all comes back to my life experience with grief and stuff.
Right.
And like after my father died, I feel like I kind of started to hold back on building relationships with people, not really on purpose, but as an aftermath of that, because I don't want to have to lose people. You understand? Like I don't want to have to go through that grief again. So I don't really go out of my way to build relationships. Me here, so the same way I would have known you, and yeah, I mean, it happened over time and organically. I not really put myself on.
Of course.
Right? 3 weeks ago, one of the couples that I hosted a wedding for, that would have been in 2019, her husband died.
Oh man, yeah, I suppose shit.
And again, so
life.
We didn't really get all that close. But we were still like, seeing your stuff
Connected.
and I seeing what going on with you and whatnot. So it still feels like a loss now.
Right, of course.
And I mean, some people's thought process will be, well, you know, it's a benefit that you get to know somebody rather than you didn't know them at all. But for me, it's a toss-up.
Right.
It's a toss-up. Because to hear he died, automatically, the same all the memories on the day.
Yeah, of course.
Then the memories of everything I seen happening and I seen you and your family growing and progressing over time and whatnot. So it's
you're invested in it.
And if I'm doing 20 plus weddings a year.
Yeah, you're living with a lot of stories.
There's a lot of people, a lot of stories. I seeing people, you're going on vacation, everything nice, you're having your first child. I living through miscarriages. I living through children being born. It's happy, it's sad. I living through illness. I living through death. I living through grief, parents.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, who was a big part of the wedding day.
And there's people that I would have been there with and experienced things with.
So what's your outlet for the... There's a lot of no Kiegs. How you doing that?
Rum.
All right, yeah. And but people Achilles, I forget. It was headed back there, you know.
No, but the sweat.
Right.
The football.
Things like that.
Being able to...
Oh, that's why he's playing so hard. That's why he's taking so serious.
Gotta kick it off.
Listen, there are a few things they will put me on here. That's not here. Never know. But there are a few things I want to get to too. Because you say drink rum. And as a man, you entice me immediately. I say that, right? So I custom drinking with your lime and I'm thinking playing with football. We meet playing football, right? And He's a man used to take a drink with drinking whatever, and then one day you come and tell me, boy, I remember the doctor and they tell me blood sugar, da 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 da.
Right, yeah.
And you changed completely. It was done annoying and sickening and fast and have all the energy to play it for the length of time.
Really?
Anybody who ever sweats with me know I have a solid couple moments for me every sweat. But that's it.
Yeah, boy.
So when you had that change, I always admired how quickly it seemed to be fast to me, because one day I see Kiegs and he was Kiegs, and next day Kiegs were club soda and Perrier to chase with and thing.
Yeah.
How much of an adjustment was that for you when you had to change your diet and everything?
Boy, I don't want to say it was easy. Right? It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but I feel like I had big motivation. Again, my dad was diabetic.
I see.
So what I was able to be there for was, I guess, the change in how they approach diabetes. Back in his timing, they kind of just defaulted to medication, right? We had all these diet, soft drinks, and all of these things across the period, and we kind of realized later on that actually not better.
So good for you,
yeah. So all of these little things. So when I was at the doctor's appointment and he was dealing with the results, and he for himself was saying, well, you know, it would be good if he could reduce this. So reduce eating white rice, reduce flour, reduce sugary drinks. I asked him, well, why don't you tell me to cut it out? And he said, well, most people can't. Just cut it out. Now, I've never been big on sweets. But I drinking my juice and thing because
just
I
normal
healthy.
life. It's just
That's what people do.
That's right. It's just cultural.
It's drinking, you're chasing with his ginger ale or whatnot. So you're drinking.
Of course.
Right? Rice is a staple.
Rice is rice.
You're eating rice.
Rice will be sugar.
3-4 times.
Rice is sweet. Yeah.
Right? Flour. You're eating flour twice for the day. You're eating flour breakfast and dinner.
Right.
More than likely. A sandwich or if it's a bake or something. Every Tuesday it's a roti and Melissa's. Everybody making roti. No matter where you go to get food, it's a roti. So you're eating flour. Right? And that's it. He said basically a lot of people can't just cut out these things.
Cultural.
Right? So in all honesty, I couldn't cut it out completely either. But that's what I aimed to do. And I actually did cut it out completely.
I remember
for
that
3
period.
months.
Yeah, I remember that period.
3 months. I didn't eat any flour. I didn't eat any white rice. I didn't drink any juice, any soft drink.
Yeah.
Right? I was drinking water and green tea, which is still why I just drink. I looking for a switch up, green tea.
Right.
From water. See, it's that much of a switch. Right? Coconut water in between. Right? But for the flour, the rice, I was eating more provision, green fig, a lot of meats, a lot of vegetables, right? And I lost 20 pounds.
Yeah, quick.
In that 3
Almost
months.
between the 2 times I see it. Obviously, I see you one sweat, next thing you get smaller and faster and lighter. It's the worst.
And so like now, that's like 3 years now we're talking about. So now, I'm not as strict with it, but I don't drink juice.
Right.
I don't drink soft drink. If I drinking rum and I'm chasing, it's still with club soda. Or I drinking light beer. Surprisingly, light beer don't really have no big sugar content. You could drink light beer. I wake up the next day, test my sugar.
You're
low.
good. Okay.
Everything good.
So you're still on top of it all the time.
I wouldn't check every day, but I'll check once every week just to make sure. Right. I don't have any symptoms to say
good.
Give me any indication I need to check on anything.
Good.
But I don't want anything to get out of hand.
Yeah, of course, yeah, taken in front.
And the problem is now weddings.
Well, this is why I wonder, because I gonna eat all them people cakes. So you just be
every
mindful of that.
other week or every week. So this gonna be the 3rd week in a row wedding. It have rice in the wedding. It have rice for sure.
You see how bad it is? I study in cake because you rice.
You know what else it have? It have doubles.
Yeah.
It have doubles in all them weddings.
Yeah, of course.
So that
bust out a whole set of mini roti. You wasn't eating that. So you just avoid it completely as much as you could.
I don't bother to eat it.
Yeah.
Right?
So Kiegs, you're gonna be busting Achilles for a long time. This is not this thing had no end. It's had no end to this road here you're talking about.
I want us to unequivocally state that I did not have anything to do with this man rupturing his Achilles tendon, because I know how we like headlines in this country.
Well, I mean,
that cannot be the headline.
Well, the nice thing about editing clips is I could edit this to suit. I'm going to put a picture of all the surgery I went through and think this is going to be part of the clips, Kiegs. That's why we're here. I've been waiting for this for a long time.
Debunking Corie Sheppard. I will start that podcast. Every time you release an episode, I have one comment right now. Debunking Corie Sheppard.
Well, listen, two more things before we go. As you say, debunking Corie Sheppard, I did see you at one point in time, and it was inspiring for me doing a podcast. Well, I don't know if it was a podcast. You was doing a news type of show, which I find was real entertaining. It's something that you will continue to do, or you're considering?
That was the weekend review. I started by myself too during COVID times.
Oh, it's COVID, okay.
Right, and then I reintroduced it as part of the TTNL show on our radio. .fm, right? So our radio.
Yeah.
If you haven't checked it out yet, online radio station, get that promoting strictly local. Writers, producers, right? Poets, just local artists, right?
Yeah, everyone's doing great work. Well, they're doing great work.
So we're supposed to start back in May.
Right.
So that will be coming back.
Beautiful.
So we could look forward to that. But my gain is just to get the work and do the work, because remember, Kiegs have a day job.
Yeah.
Kiegs is still Kiegs event host.
Job, right?
Kiegs is event host. Kiegs trying to get music done for Christmas.
Yeah, of course.
Trying to get into the soca space still. Right?
Yeah, that's something you want to continue to pursue, because I mean, Mevon and them, no.
No, I can't go by Mevon.
You can't go by Mevon?
I can't go by Mevon. And that's not me saying it as a lament.
I understand what you mean, man, but
I can't go by Mevon. So it's the same thing. Mevon as a Soca Parang producer and Mevon as a Soca producer. It's two different Mevon speaking.
Well, you had to do what I tell you to do when you sing, you know? You had to swing it.
Tell Mevon to do a Soca Parang and then
change up them lyrics.
Let Mevon bring the other and say, this could be a Soca. Serious?
Yeah.
Well, let me do that now. But I respect that.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You know, and I fully support. I'm very proud. I celebrate Mevon every time I see Mevon making strides.
Legendary. He continues to do great.
So
but there's something you will continue to pursue.
Soca? Yeah, so I do my thing. I'm not sure that I like it, but I feel like I have something to offer. Right? I'm not sure the audience want it.
No, but I like how you starting with as Zan had come here and say the most important thing is your written song, and that's what I hear you saying.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm not sure the audience want it, but once I like my song, it had the real hits for this year for Carnival, innit?
Right.
And I build my playlist and I put mine inside it 3 times.
Of course.
So mine must play that. When I hear mine inside, I say, hey, boy, this tune nice.
Kiegs, you're a better man than me. You will sing karaoke, weddings. I don't make every event about me. That's why I would have no more work. That's why I only host one wedding ever.
Now, that way said there is poor from a marketing perspective. Right?
Yeah.
But I really care about
that comes
people
true.
more than me.
Yeah.
I really care about people's experience more than me. Yes, I could go out there, but I've been in places where I've felt like, yo, what you doing?
Right, of course.
Well, I ain't come here for that. I could see people that come here for that, but I'm not promoting anything on here.
Yeah, some people don't care. Somebody I had talked to and they were saying the same thing. They say, but if I had to do this again when I go on radio, I play my tune every minute of the day. You know what I mean? But if it's not true to you, it could be hard. You know, how you're sleeping at night matters.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of my biggest takeaways from talking to you.
But Soca, I feel like I have something to offer.
Right.
And again, I rather have, I look into do a power Soca.
Right.
And producer don't tell me, well, boy, people really listen to power Soca. So unless it's Abonjo, Marshall or nothing, I say, well, boy, I feel like I like my power Soca.
I like that. As if you like the song.
I like it. And as much as we have a kind of seasonal nature, and if it do pop this season, it's gone. I got a power Soca.
Yeah.
And I do a power Soca. Years from now, hey, you know I do a power Soca. Yeah, this tune. I say, hey, that tune really bad, boy. That's all I looking for. Somebody else appreciate my art, right? And yes, music is business, and I understand people making the livelihood from the business. But music is expression, and music is art. And anytime we abandon the fact that we have people who are willing to just express themselves and create,
right?
We lose the art form itself.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody looking to forward. So it had to have some people who are willing to create. And you have your art. Once you have it, it there.
Yeah. It can't spoil. There's no expiry date on that.
It there.
Yeah, I remember telling you After Sweat is a good place for you to wrap up, because After Sweat I tell you, I say, Kiegs, you have to keep doing what you're doing, whether it's forwarding it, hitting or whatever. Because my prediction is this, and I've said it many times. I think you will land in the same place as the Soca Parang greats. That sacrifice you're making, because I understand there's a sacrifice too, because the more I drink is the more I want to call certain songs name. But I promise before we come here, I will talk to people about their own music and not talk to nobody else, right? But some of those songs that I might say, let me go back to my partner who's in Catering Bag. You can't do that because you are a writer. If you sit down, you could do that. So I always admire writers who And you find it with writers more than anybody else. A man who's buy songs tends to want to.
Yeah.
And I hope to have Impulse here one day, who's one of the greatest at ever doing that ever, right? But you take that conscious decision to keep your music in a certain direction.
Yeah.
And I hear, I'm not around as much events as you, but where I am a lot is by people house at House Parang. And I'm talking about simple people. You go up Cameron, you go up Paramin, you go up, they go up in the West. Simple people. All they want is a little music. And year by year, the first time I meet you, I say, shit, this Kiegs. Because I hear people playing a little song over the years. And me don't know who is this. With sweet voice and all them kind of thing. You know how long me hear sweet voice and music in this country sometimes. And I've seen over the years where your music starting to get, you're watching people, right? I always hear people talk about this in studios where they bring people in the studio and you just throw on a song nobody know and you watch how people pop it. And I'm seeing that happening with your music more.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden I start to see a year where, because when Baron say come go, man drunk, man thing, but you go here, whoa, yo, come go. And if I play that, people go respond. I see over the years on people's house, people start to say, pay me. Mm-hmm. And you must be seeing it too. All of a sudden, random people say, boy, this Kiegs ain't easy, I think it will land very well. So I hope it's something that you're going to continue to do.
Yeah, for sure. But even with like PME, it was a struggle for me to do all that repetition.
Yeah.
But I had to meet the audience halfway.
Of course.
So I had to let go the fact that I feel like some kind of purist and I want to write my song But no, the song is not just for me.
No.
So if I had to say pay me 26 times.
You're doing it.
Farmer to Bobby Head
and get them to pay me dance. Boy, listen, keep doing it.
Right.
It go land in the right place.
And in terms of that Christmas event, Christmas with Kiegs.
Oh yes, players. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
So what I aim to do at Christmas with Kiegs, again, is give people Christmas. When you come for Christmas with Kiegs, it's not soca and chutney and dancehall. If you don't like Christmas, don't come on.
Yeah. I gotta like it.
Because it is a night of Christmas. Now, we in Trinidad, so down in the wrap-ups, wherever, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, we could get something else to close off, but you reach by me for 7 o'clock till 12. It's Parang. It's traditional. Christmas is the Christmas on the hill and it's the ribbons and all of these songs that is nostalgic.
And you bring a lot of other artists, you give them the space too.
Yeah. So Parang bands that on the circuit. Ad Yonky Money.
Nice.
Season 7 or till 8 by now. Singing Soca Parang.
Beautiful.
Afisha Brong.
Yeah.
Artists that you probably don't really know of necessarily.
Yeah.
Right,
but in the space.
Wilkie is one who has been alongside me throughout the space, right? So I try to give people an event that is just authentically Christmas. It don't have to be a going down there and oh God, we come in as Christmas.
Well, you're creating the space that you want. Well, so congratulations on that. I'm glad that you're doing it. I hope you continue to do it and continue to make your music and do your thing. And I forgive you for busting my Achilles. I just want to end on that note. Since you talk, it touched me a lot in this. I was very touched with your words in this episode.
See, I'm glad I didn't touch it.
And I want to forgive you.
I'm glad I didn't touch it.
I didn't touch my toe.
I'm glad I didn't touch it.
I thought this man kick way the back of my football and I watch Kiegs and nowhere. But brother, thanks very much. It's a long time when you make it. I appreciate that. You have to knock a glass by this club, so no. See worse. Thanks a million, Kiegs.